Here's a quickie video on how to do a paired t-test, both in Excel, which is what we're looking at now, and then we'll do it again real quick in SPSS. But in Excel, this is what we call a paired t-test. Normally, we will call these repeated measures tests with only 2 repeated measures. In other words, there are no groups. Everybody is in one big group. So this example, I'm just making it up off the top of my head, is they took 10 people, 9 people, 8 people, and they took their blood pressure, and then they gave them a new blood pressure reducing drug called blood pressure belower, whatever you want to call it. And 2 weeks later, they remeasured their blood pressure. So you have pre-blood pressure, post-blood pressure. So let's go ahead and pick a cell, any cell in Excel, go to the function bar. We're going to go to t-test. Wow, that was convenient. Click OK. And so make sure your cursor is in the blinky box for array 1. Click and drag strictly the numbers. Click in the array 2 box. Click and drag strictly numbers. Tails is a 2-tail. Basically, that means we're betting that it's either less than or greater than, commonly called just not equal to. So we're just going to give it 2 tails. And in the type box, you'll notice here, it says a paired t-test is a 1. So we're just going to type in a 1. Click OK. And it's going to give us the p-value. It's not going to give us a test statistics per se, but it's going to give us a p-value. So that is a tiny, tiny p-value. Roughly 0.007, which is much smaller than 0.05. So we do have a significant difference between time 1 and time 2 on the blood pressure. So now let's go ahead and do this in SPSS. The easiest way is to pre-name the variables and then simply cut and paste, right-click, copy, open your SPSS. Where are you? There you are. And click in the first box, right click and paste. Hopefully it'll work. Bam, there it is. Okay. So now we have to go back down to the variable view. Okay. We're going to define the variables. Make sure they're numeric, not string, right? Numeric means a number's coming. And over here, you got to make sure they're a scale number. That's a continuous number, just a regular counting number. So we're good to go. So far, so good. Okay, so to run a paired t-test, we are going to go to Analyze, Compare Means, Paired t-test. Wow, doesn't get easier than that. Oops, reset. So you put what your repeated measures were, right? First one, second one, click OK, click OK. And there's nothing in the options box I already checked, so click OK. So SPSS is going to give you 3 boxes, okay? The first one is Descriptive Statistics, the mean of the first group, the mean of the second group, how many are in each group, their standard deviations, and their standard error, which is the standard deviation divided by the square root of the n. That would give you that number. So now it's going to give you a quick correlation between time 1 and time 2 to make sure that they are kind of related to each other. They should be. This is one type of a dependent test. In other words, the first group of scores is kind of dependent on the second group of scores because they're all the same people. Okay, so, but what we're looking for is we're going to look for the t-test statistic in this box here. And again, it's got the difference between the means. Right. So this is the mean difference, the different standard deviation, different standard error. It's got a confidence interval for you between the means. There is your t-test statistic right there. The number of degrees of freedom is the number in one group minus 1, so 8 minus 1 is 7. And there's your p-value, which is less than 0.05, which we can say we can reject the null. No, so the null is not true. Therefore, we have proved that there is a significant difference between time 1 and time 2 in their blood pressure scores. In other words, the medicine seems to be working. So that's it. MGZ. Out.